Today we are going to continue Ask and It Is Given, Learning to Manifest Your Dream, a book by Esther and Jerry Hicks. So let's get going and read the preface by Jerry Hicks. Sunlight is beginning to spill across the Malibu coastline as I begin this preface, and the deep indigo tint of the Pacific Ocean at this time of the morning seems to match the depth of pleasure I'm feeling as I'm imagining the value you are about to receive from the revelations within this book. Ask and It Is Given is certainly a book about our asking being answered by all that is. But it's primarily about how whatever we are asking for is being given to us. And it's also the first book to ever, in such clear terminology, give us the simple, practical formula for how to ask for and then how to receive whatever we want to be, do, or have. Decades ago, while searching for plausible answers to my never-ending quest to know what it is all about, I discovered the word ineffable, meaning incapable of being expressed in words. Ineffable coincided with the conclusion I'd formed relative to it. I had decided that the closer we get to knowing the non-physical, the fewer words we have for clearly expressing it. And so, any state of complete knowing would also therefore be a state of ineffability. In other words, at this point in our time-space reality, the non-physical cannot be clearly expressed with physical words. Throughout physical history, we evolved through into billions of philosophies, religions, opinions, and beliefs. Yet, with the billions upon billions of thinkers thinking, concluding, and passing their beliefs on to the next generations, we have not, at least not in any words we can agree on, found physical words to express the non-physical. Recorded history has retained some forms of documentation of, but a few of many beings would have consciously communicated with non-physical intelligence. Some were revered, while some were damned by others. Most, however, who have been conscious of personal communication with the non-physical, perhaps in fear of being damned or even institutionalized, have decided to go and tell no one about their revelations. So people had experiences, some said, some were revered, people used to pray for them or used to, follow them. But some of them never told anyone because they thought that people would not believe, they'll make fun of them and they will cut them from the society. Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Joan of Arc, Joseph Smith, to name but a few of these were known to the English-speaking world, were each outspoken recipient of non-physical intelligence, most of whom met with quite untimely and horrible physical ends. And so, although each of us is directly receiving some form of non-physical guidance, only a few receive blocks of non-physical thoughts that are clear enough to be translated into physical words. And of those few, fewer still are willing to disclose their experience to others. I remind you of this information as a preface to what you are about to read from my wife Esther, is one of those rare persons who can, at will, relax our conscious mind enough to allow the reception of non physical answers to whatever is asked. So, whatever is asked, Esther is able to get the non physical answers for those questions. Somehow, Esther receives blocks of thoughts, not words, and just as a Spanish English translator. So this is written by the husband Jerry, and he's talking about his wife Esther. Both of them have authored this book. So he's telling that his wife is able to get non-physical answers. So that's what it is talking about. Esther receives blocks of thoughts, not words, and just as Spanish English translator would hear a thought projected in Spanish words and then translate the thought, not the actual words, into English words. Esther instantly translates the non-physical thought into its closest physical, that is English word equivalent. Please note that since there aren't always physical English words to perfectly express the non-physical thought that Esther receives, she sometimes forms new combination of words as well as using standard words in the new ways, for example, capitalizing them when normally they would not be, in order to express new ways of looking at life. And for the reason, we have created a brief glossary at the back of this book in order to clarify our uncommon usage of some words. In other words, there is a common term, well-being, meaning the state of being happy, healthy, prosperous. But the basis of Abraham's uncommon philosophy is translated into English as well-being. It's about the broader, universal, non-physical well-being that flows naturally to all of us unless we do something to pinch it off. Also, within the next within the text, we will initially put a quotation mark any coined words that you wouldn't find in any dictionary, but those meanings are obvious, such as overwhelmment or endedness. So there are some words which have been coined in that non-physical vocabulary, and the meanings are given at the end. Since 1986, Esther and I have traveled for about 50 cities a year presenting workshops, and any of the attendees can discuss or pose questions on whatever subject they want to ask or talk about. No subjects are off limits. People have come by the thousands from different ethnic groups, from different walks of life, from different philosophies, philosophical backgrounds, all wanting to improve life in some way, either directly for themselves or indirectly for assisting others. And to those thousands who have asked for more, the answers have been given through Esther Hicks from non-physical intelligence. And so, in response to asking by those like you who want to know more, this philosophy of well-being has evolved into the creation of this book. At the heart of these teachings is the most powerful law of the universe, the law of attraction. Over the past decade, we have published much of Abraham's teachings in our quarterly journal, The Science of Deliberate Creation, which has highlighted the newest perspectives gleaned from questions posed by attendees of our Art of Allowing workshops. So they conduct workshops, and where they get questions, they are answering those questions, and they are now quarterly publishing those journals in the form of the Science of Deliberate Creation. So that's what Jerry's talking about. As such, this philosophy is continually evolving as more of you bring to our attention your newest questions and perspectives. This book offers you a hands-on course in spiritual practicality. It's a how-to book in the broadest sense of the term. That is, how to be, do, or have anything that pleases you. This book also teaches you how not to be, do, or have anything that displeases you. Jerry. So, friends, this is Preface. We will be starting with the next chapter, An Introduction to Abraham by Esther Hicks. So, who's Abraham? How she's getting the answers from non physical. That's what is going to be revealed in this chapter.